Hiya to the tribes and greetings, guests. This is TAIFA World Ministry. We have a community gathering. Every so often, where I update the indigenous organic community. What's going on? What we need to be doing in this day and time. So, visitors, you're welcome to listen in, but this is for the community. And it's something that may benefit you in some way. But really, you don't need the message. Most people have this message in their own community. And what is this message that people have? Self preservation. Self preservation. It's the law of nature. It's one of the, well, you can say the first law. 'Cause without preserving self, what is there else to preserve? So there's a lot going on, tribes. It's finally been discovered that the Tamahu are so-called white man, sperm is too weak to produce children. The Japanese experienced this, well, made it public first. Now Poland made it public. Not just so. This is not just the so-called white man. Asians as well, experiencing very low sperm count in their male population. So they need a little help. So what's the most strongest producing nation? It's the organic people, so-called black people. So-called because they've been calling us everything from Indians, anything but what we are, colored, African Americans, you name it. But you didn't name it, they named it because that name is a corporation, which means they own you. That's why a name is so important. So they go get the original people to help them fertilize their women. Japan did it first, made it publicly. Now you don't know the nations who haven't made it publicly, but I promise you it is practice. You will find out. I have to promise you. You will find out it's practiced quite a few places. And then recently, Poland followed suit. They provide a dance in where you can just come in and dance with their women, specifically the African or so-called black men, and hopefully to start a family. Now, what that has to do with us? What does that have to do with us, tribe? Is that we are, some of us are going anti self-preservation. Instead of maintaining your strong tribe blood, seed, and heritage, and genetic pool, you saying, I want to lighten it up. And you helping them, you're not being helped. You are at your expense, you are, okay, look at it like this. God made us pure people, so-called. In other words, everybody has a unique attributes, unique traits to make them who they are. Now, If you have a dominant gene, which is melanin, and you give that gene to everybody else, pretty soon that gene gonna become weak. It will lose its characteristics as melanin. That's happening among these so-called black Americans. You don't see a lot of melanated people among them anymore. Well, let's say like this: it's getting less and less. Because I remember growing up, and that's just a couple of generations ago, maybe 3 generations ago. If you light skinned, they call you red bone, and you was a butt of a joke because you was a deviation from the norm. Most people was heavily melanated, so you was an oddball if you was red bone. Meaning if you had white blood in your genes. And so here is 3 generations later, man, where's the dark skinned people at? And this is important. This is important because the same attributes that people are looking to you for, you didn't see any value in it. A lot of us, a lot of you all, because I never participated in that. You didn't see the value in your melanin skin, how you're favored by having that. That's why you, right now, see the way it's supposed to happen was that we here in America, so-called black people, there's no doubt in your mind. It should be no doubt in your mind with Abraham's seeds. The whole world is blessed through us. So the command was repopulate the earth. Now you was to repopulate the earth through your seed. This seed who experienced this bondage for hundreds of years to make you able to rule much wiser, more equity, more justice because of your experiences. But you've given it away. So the Africans now, because they have maintained their genetic pool, they're being called on to serve that need. Now they prefer you here, so-called African American, because you got skills to offer, some of you. And most of the Africans, they may not have those skills. The bottom line is this. After you listen to this 4 or 5 times, you get the point. My tribes here in North America and beyond, when you have relationships or starting a family, don't think about you. Don't think on a personal level about what you want. That's very selfish. Think on a higher level what's best for your people. You may say, oh, I want a white woman. Okay, that's your freedom. But then what about your children? They're not going to look like you. Your whole gene pool will be destroyed. In a few generations, they all going to look white. So what have you done? You've destroyed the most coveted trait of your melanin. You've given it up. Your actions cause it to be taken away in 2 or 3 generations. That's all it takes 2 or 3 generations, three or 4 generations, your whole melanin structure would be, you're going to look white. Just put it like that. Now, what are the white people doing? They know that they cannot survive this sun that's coming. This 2 sun or 3 suns, man, it's gonna wipe them out. They can't dare. They can't get out in 1 sun because of the lack of melanin in their skin. So they trying to become darker. Well, the smart ones are. The Asians as well. They want that melanin that you are giving up. So think generations, because that's what they're doing. They're thinking generationally after their lives, because they want to survive as a nation. Japan want to survive as a nation. Poland want to survive as a nation. So they think what's going to happen down the line, 50 and 60 years from now. If we can't produce children, we're going to be just non-existence. So let's get this dominant gene in. Japan said, let's get this dominant gene in. Poland said, let's get this dominant gene in so we can stay here. So I have some grandchildren here, great grandchildren here. They may not look like me, but at least they have some of my traits, some of my attributes. So that's the point. And with the so-called melanated women, y'all always been the last. Well, let me say it like this: there was a time when most of y'all prefer dark-skinned men, and because of the white influence that portrayed him because you work around them, you be around them, and they hated them. You grew up with that hatred. Some of you grew up hating dark skin. So you've been gravitating to lighter skin for some time now. So you're wiping yourself out because it's just been shown how the light skinner cannot take the sun. So maybe this is God's plan to take the dumb people out, or people who don't think about self-preservation, who are people who hate themselves. This is God's plan to take them out. So let me not complain about it. Let me say that if you don't like who you are, go ahead, take yourself out. You will not be here in no form in 40 and 50 years. So maybe that's good because that mindset is not here. That self-hatred is not here. So that's the message the ancestors brought me today. I wanted to pass on to you. I feel very good this morning because I had a realization. Well, I always knew we were a battery. The body's a battery, but we're not an acid. We're not an acid battery. We're an alkaline battery. So once you figure out how to keep your body alkaline, then all you need is good water to keep your battery charged. And it's the simplest things right before your face. But you'll see it once you get yourself cleaned up and start thinking right. Then that supreme power in you will show you. But I can't tell you. You won't even hear me. You won't even hear what I'm saying until you get yourself cleaned up. So thank you all for listening. Even though there are a few people coming in, but y'all don't have any questions. Any questions? All right, hiya, hiya to the tribes.